I'm Ben Smith, and I've been in the industry more than 20 years, actually close to 25, 26, but who's counting? Over the last 3 years, I've been the network engineering manager for Santander Consumer USA. Yes, it is a mouthful, but we are growing. Have over 18 years with EDS. It's one of those companies that John Chambers talked about that's no longer with us anymore. But I had great experiences there. And just to let you a little bit back to Santander is we do auto loans and unsecured loans, and we support those. And I have call centers that are on my network that I have to support. A little bit more about my experiences. How many people remember 3270 cluster controllers? Yes, a technology called ArcNet. Yes, there's not many people. I tell my team about it and they look at me like I'm crazy because they've worked on nothing but Ethernet. So kind of continuing down that, this past couple years, we've actually implemented and built out 2 new data centers, actually a data center and a half. We have a little bit of a colo. And on that, we've actually implemented the Cisco Nexus architecture from the 7000s and 5000s and using UCS as the servers and replacing that hard server that's just standing there and not helping a lot. We're going as virtual as we possibly can. We have around 4,600 people now on the network that we're supporting, and we're looking to grow to about 10,000 over the next couple of years. We're just moved into the new data centers from a managed services provider. They were very good when we started off in a young corporate age to supporting us on our applications and our databases and supporting the voice over IP, and it was there, but we outgrew them and what they were able to provide for us. And so part of that managed services is when you're on a leveraged infrastructure, you really cannot put a lot of tools out there because there's no way for that provider, if they are not able to support it, to be able to give you just your information. I've been at that EDS where we did actually have that, to where it was a leveraged infrastructure, and when you got GM running on one and Chrysler on the port over, you can't provide that information to the customer. So you have to be creative. And part of that is that kind of left us with simple tools. We're using ping, traceroute, to figure out what was going on in our network. And at times when there were issues with a particular server or a user, then we would load Wireshark, which was very good at helping us to figure out what was going on with that particular host or user. I want to tell you a little bit about an incident that once we installed network instruments. About 45 days in, just getting not everything's actually up and running, but we got it in and we're actually using it. Got the phone call. It's always a network. It doesn't matter what it is, one single user, it's a network problem. Well, this actually was a network problem. We started seeing our call agents getting knocked off the network. They're not able to complete tasks that they're supposed to do to finish out the calls for the users and the people that we're supporting. Traffic was getting slow. The network's starting to bog down, so we started looking into this. And my level 1 engineer, my very lowest guy, pulled up network instruments, started looking at the probe, started looking in the Gigastore, noticed, why is everybody trying to hit this one IP address out on the internet? What is that IP address? Where is this going? Because it's eating up 70% of the utilization. So from that standpoint, we started looking at it and we noticed that that's Adobe. Why are we all trying to hit Adobe? There's thousands of users or devices on our network trying to hit Adobe. Why? Well, we started looking at it and got a hold of the system engineering team that supports that part of the updates, and there was a little checkbox. Update local or update over the internet, and the internet was chosen. All of our users, about 2,500 of them at one time, were trying to update Adobe to download the new update that they had, which caused congestion on our network. Well, that took us about 30 minutes to find what the issue was and resolve it. Without network instruments, we wouldn't have ever found it. It had just gone away. You got to know what's on your network. You got to know what's on the wire. And if you can't do it, Wireshark, if we'd have loaded Wireshark or had Wireshark running, we'd have never saw the combination of all these users trying to go to one location. We would have saw one user going to one location, and we would have never been able to find what the problem was. Just to let you know, we still use Wireshark. We take it and then we run the PCAP file right into the Network Instruments Observer Suite. It gives us an expert analysis, tells us what's going on. It even helps my level 1 guys that's not been around long enough to know how to read a Wireshark trace to see, look at everything. It brings it right up front. It gives it in plain English so we can actually look at it and find quicker resolution to what our issues are. So we still use it. We still use it on local hosts. We still use it on remote users. And we feed it right into the Observer Suite that helps provide a resolution for us. So it fixes everything. It helps us find resolution quicker. What you don't need is to know, and just a little additional story is the fact that even last week, I have an issue with an FTP server. Ran it through Wireshark, put it off, we're able to see it on the Observer, going back to the Gigastore, going back where the original incident happened 2 days before, was able to look at the trace, everything matched up. It helped point it right back to the application that was having the problem, which made us look at that vendor that helped pull that out to realize they had a patch that went in 2 days before when we started having the issue. So they had to back the patch out. That was one thing without this tool that we would have never been able to find. So just want to let you know, I did look at everybody and I found for my money, Network Instruments was going to provide me what I needed for my business. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.